In season 1 of all the most popular sitcoms ever, they're all in their late 20s or early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
No one is 21. No one would want to watch that.
Right.
Like, no one, and the only one is girls, and they're all of a dumpster fire. That's not aspirational. Sex and the City, they're like 27, 29, and 33. Like, they are not 21 years old. And look at them all. Like, you don't watch that show and be like, pathetic losers. You look at that and you're like, oh my God, like, that's so fun. And like, look at their lives, and they're dating, and they're figuring themselves out. Like, why does it look so good there, but when you're doing it, like, it looks so freaky? Like, it's season 1. You're not going crazy. You're not insane. You're not spiraling. You're just 22.
That's author and content creator Eli Rallo. I'm Leah Smart, and this is Everyday Better. Stay tuned to hear more about how Gen Z is coping with adulting in their professional and personal lives, and what we can all learn from the other side of a big life transition like the quarter-life crisis. Don't forget to hit that follow button to get new episodes of our show every week. And if you want to hang out with me more, you can find me on socials. Finally, if you like this conversation, I have a big favor to ask. Leave us a review wherever you're listening so we can keep bringing you more conversations that you love. Hey everyone, from LinkedIn News, this is Everyday Better, a show about the tools you need to create positive change in your mindset, your work, and every other area of your life. I'm Leah Smart, LinkedIn's senior editor and a certified professional coach. I help people become better versions of themselves one day at a time. And every week, I sit down with a trusted voice so together we can explore how to take small steps toward big changes, the kind we plan for, strive toward, or never saw coming. When you're growing up, you're told you can be anything. It seems like every path and every choice is available to you. But then something happens as you near the end of your 20s, or at least for me it did. There's kind of this moment. You look up and you notice that the paths don't seem as plentiful as they once did. You start to look at your fellow travelers and wonder if you're trailing behind or if you should have turned off when they did. And that is when the panic sets in. This, my friend, is the quarter-life crisis. Now, I had mine at 28 when I started to wonder if I was on the right career path. I kind of knew I wasn't. And if, like most of my friends, my time in New York City was meant to be temporary, despite what I knew in my gut when I first visited at age 14. Of course, I know now, on the other side of my quarter-life crisis, that my fears of being behind were a fallacy. But what I learned while going through it was that I couldn't rely on anyone else's choices to guide my own. I've taken this realization with me well into my 30s as I've experienced other major wanted and unwanted changes. Now, we all know big transitions are an inevitable part of life, but what we do in response to them shapes who we become and what we choose to value. With me today is someone who just recently emerged from her quarter-life crisis with a message for anyone going through a major change. You are not alone, and you don't need to have it all figured out yet. After graduating with degrees in theater and journalism, Eli Rallo had a vision for what her post-grad life would be. She'd have a fulfilling career, fabulous friends, and a thriving social life. But instead, she found herself struggling with social anxiety, a directionless career, and a creeping sense that she'd never figure it all out. Wasn't she supposed to feel like a grown-up? And if she didn't feel like one yet, would she ever? Eli didn't become a performer, and she didn't become a journalist like she thought. But after going viral on TikTok in 2020, Eli began sharing the ins and outs of her life as she navigated her 20s, her work, friendships, but also her anxieties and fears about the future.
So I'm turning 27 in 2 months, and I just wanted to describe to you guys a little bit what it feels like to be in your mid to late 20s. I have some friends who are getting engaged, some friends who are getting married, some friends who are going through devastating breakups. I have some friends who work 9-to-5s that they hate. I have some friends who are getting promoted because they love their 9-to-5s. I have some friends who are moving home to save money. I have some friends who are waitressing and working really hard to make their artistic dreams come true. And every day you wake up with this crippling feeling of like, what's the right decision? And you look around to your peers and everybody made a different choice.
And now, Eli's sharing her story of navigating her quarter-life crisis in her new book of essays, Does Anyone Else Feel This Way? Today, she's talking about the lessons she's learned and the unique challenges her generation faces as they enter adulthood. My conversation with Eli reminded me that we're always evolving, and that on the other side of change, there are profound surprises and unexpected joys. Here's Eli.
Technically, like age-wise, I am an adult now. I've reached, quote, adulthood, unquote. But I don't feel like an adult. And I think there was a lot of grappling with like what it would mean to feel like an adult. And I think it's interesting that English is like a language where we really prominently say the word feel when we mean the word think. We constantly say like, I feel like I'll never find love. I feel like all my friends hate me. And I find that sometimes making the swap to I think is sort of helpful because it sounds a lot sillier to say, I think all my friends hate me. It's like, why do you think that? And the same thing as, I think I'm not an adult. It's like, well, you are one. And maybe this is just what that is. I don't know if I'll ever, quote, feel like an adult, unquote. And I'm sure with you, like getting married, reaching motherhood, all of these things, it's like, do those things make you feel like an adult?
No.
Or does everybody just kind of cosplay and we sort of mimic what it would be to be an adult and go from there?
Literally, it's that.
It's that.
It's that, right? Like 18 being an adult. I think that's just because of the draft. You know,
Yeah,
like, I don't think that's real.
I think that's like literally because of the draft.
And what they've found is like you don't become an adult technically till your late 20s.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about this. One of the stories you talked about this idea of like every time you got somewhere you thought you'd then be an adult.
Yeah.
Which really stuck with me.
Yeah.
And we just talked about this with, you know, getting married, having children, all of those milestones people talk about that apparently make you feel like an adult, but you're like, actually still don't know what I'm doing.
I actually don't know what I'm doing.
Correct. What advice do you give to people, I mean, that are in that place of going, when I finally do this, I'll be adult or I'll be happy?
Yeah. I met this like psychic tarot lady when I was in grad school, and she had like this long, illustrious career, and I was interviewing her for something, but then she read my tarot cards after. And this is a time in my life, I was like 22, and I feel like I was really like forcing myself everywhere. Like I call it like happening to life. Like I was like forcing myself into every situation, forcing myself into dating, forcing myself into all this stuff. Like I was just like almost like desperate for it all to happen to me. And I was like, happen to me, you know? And she told me, be still and wait. And I realized like I really needed to start letting life happen to me a little bit. You need to be self-starting and you need to be like happening a little bit, but like you don't need to be shoving yourself everywhere to try to prove to like yourself in the world that like you're an adult. Just let life happen to you. It was so startlingly simple that I was like, oh, like I didn't need anyone to over-explain that to me. I just needed her to say that to me.
Yeah. Well, it's like when you're young, you consistently have people telling you about your potential. You could be this, you could do that, you could do anything, and you feel it. And you want to like, I mean, for me, I was like, I want to run toward a million things. I could be all these different things. And then as you get older, that starts to like just decrease. People stop. You kind of just, I'm 37, so it's like, oh, well, you've gotten there. Like, good for you. You know, but it's not about who you could become.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there is this like desire to have all the things and really to answer the question, are all of my dreams going to come true as an adult?
I see a lot of older women on TikTok, and I really do try to interact with their content so it sticks around for me. Like I saw a woman like on a sailboat reading a book, and she was like 75, has been my favorite year of my life. And like I never thought I would say that. And it was so well received because I think people need to hear stuff like that. Like you're not done. Like you're 37, that's young. Like I was saying this on TikTok the other day, but like in season 1 of all the most popular sitcoms ever, they're all in their late 20s or early 30s. No one is 21. No one would want to watch that. Like no one, and the only one is girls, and they're all of a dumpster fire. That's not aspirational. Sex and the City, they're like 27, 29, and 33. Like they are not 21 years old. And look at them all. Like you don't watch that show and be like, pathetic losers. You look at that and you're like, oh my God, like that's so fun. And like look at their lives and their dating and their figuring themselves out. Like, why does it look so good there, but when you're doing it, like it looks so freaky? Like, it's season 1. You're not going crazy. You're not insane. You're not spiraling. You're just 22.
I mean, and for me looking back, I'm like, gosh, I had so little figured out, and my 30s have been so much better than my 20s.
And I need more people to be saying that, because I hear from like every woman in their 30s are like, I've never looked better. I've never felt better. I've never had more money. And I've never had more fun. Like I actually like my life now.
And you're different, but you like it. And I think that's kind of what just keeps happening, which is probably why this woman's like, this is the best year of my life. I'm 75.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what it's like right now to become an adult. Like this moment feels so different.
It is so different.
Right. I know people have had uncertainty and struggle and all of that through
course.
all of human history. However, it does feel different.
It's startlingly different, and you'll understand this, but like Gen Z and millennial were really the first generation of women to have this much mobility. Like our mothers, and especially all of our grandmothers, like they did not have the ability to do things like sign a lease, open a bank account without a man. Like, do you know how crazy that is? And certainly once they got those rights, it took time to like catch up to that, to like adjust to that, because society entirely shifted. More women than ever are like in the workplace, are high earners. We have so far to go. This is not perfect. And also a lot of those women are white women. But simultaneously, we are all kind of flying by the seat of our pants. Like we don't have the mentorship of our mothers or grandmothers to be like, so what did you guys do when you were like living with friends? Like they weren't living with friends. Living alone? They were not living alone.
Single until you were 35 or whatever. Yeah, no.
There was not that. Like your mother probably had you when she was 25, like mine did. Like, and so growing up, I kind of thought that was normal. And then I feel that it really shifted when like Gen Z and millennials kind of came of age, and millennials started being like, wait, we're not getting married at 21. Kisses, enjoy, goodbye. Not for us.
Exactly. Yeah.
We want to make money. We want to be independent. Like we're going to work hard. Like everyone likes to say they don't, but that's not true. And we are going to put off these things because we have the science, the research, the understanding now that we do not need to bear children at the age of 23. If you want to, sure. But like we can wait. It's a whole new world that I'm abundantly grateful that I get to live through at this time in my life. But simultaneously, like more choices is more stress. It's anxiety inducing, especially when you've never watched someone navigate that before. So you're like, so am I supposed to be having a baby like this person from my high school? Am I supposed to be getting married like this person from my college? Or am I supposed to be career building like these people that I just met? Slap on top of it the pandemic. College was kind of destroyed, like the end of it. And then what I think was really stressful for the class of 2020 college students, which was mine, is that we didn't have those like post-grad years. Like we had like COVID years, and then we were just expected to like figure it out in this economy with this job market. Like, what do you want us to do?
Right. I mean, it's a lot of firsts is what you're, it's the first time we've ever had so much access to technology. The first time a generation has really used a social platform for the majority of their lives. The first time we've had content creators. The first time women can do this. Like, how do you maintain a sense of like ease or like groundedness in that? Because there are so many different things happening right now that feel like they could shake or rock a person.
Yeah. I try to make things as simple as possible because like I'm kind of an overthinker, so I'll tend to overcomplicate them. And whenever I always tell people like my goal every day is just to have a good day. And like if I do that, I feel like I've succeeded in some way. And obviously that's like the simplest. But what I'm trying to say is like I do make things super simple because things are so complicated. So if like that's the goal, like then I ask myself like what could I do to set myself up for that good day? Like are there things I know that make me feel bad? Are there things I know that make me feel good? How can we avoid the bad in favor of the good? I'm very big on like what you can control, what you cannot control. And I write a lot about this in this book, but I feel like the best thing you can do to ground yourself is like ask a friend out for dinner and just like sit across from the table and look at each other and like truly have a human connection. Because the phone, if you're like sick for a few days, you start to feel insane. It's not normal. We're all having a very like normal reaction to an abnormal situation, which is like the world right now.
Right. And I mean, your point about just human interactions.
Yes.
Especially for Gen Z, Gen Alpha, where it's like, it's very normal to have relationships that are literally just on your phone.
Yeah. Have you seen the people that are falling in love with their AI boyfriend?
I have heard about this. Yes.
It's on Reddit. And I had to go do a stalk because I was like, what is this? And I was reading it and it honestly broke my heart. It's like people so desperate to connect with others, but so socially isolated for whatever reason, whether it's mental health, illness, anxiety.
Just fear.
Just fear. And it's like, this is where we're at. This is like genuinely where we're at for a very small subset of society, but like still it's a symptom of a larger problem.
Right. What do you think the larger problem is?
I think we're like very chronically online, and like I think it's COVID. I think if COVID didn't happen and it was just like how much social media is like a thing right now, I feel like it would have been a little better. But the fact that like we were socially isolated and kind of got comfortable with that, people romanticize it. People are like, it was low-key fun. And I'm like, to some degree, like screwing around at home and scrolling and having no obligations. Yes, but like in the wider picture, that was extremely strange. That will be in history textbooks. That was not normal. We don't have enough space from it to know what it psychologically did to all of us. So I think it's that mixed with the phones where we just are very socially isolated right now.
Well, so I'm curious because I also create content. What's it like to feel like you are a part of the thing that is also the enemy, or is it the enemy?
I try to remind people to like get off their phones as much as possible. And a lot of my content is geared toward like living your life. Whether it's like, I make a lot of content about media. I love music, I love TV, and I love theater. So encouraging people, even though like TV is technically like digital, but encouraging people to like seek out a story, go latch on to a fictional depiction of something that is more lived in than you scrolling. Like, go read a book. I make obviously tons of content about literature and books. Go watch a live piece of theater. Like, that is real. So I think like encouraging people in minor ways to get off the app is a lot of what my content aims to do. Even if I'm like out shopping, like go outside. Does this look fun to you that I like went to Pilates this morning? Like, go do that too.
If you've somehow managed to not be chronically online, it might be easy to shame Gen Z for their attachments to their phones or to turn up your nose at influencer culture. But content creation and influencer marketing is thriving, and it's here to stay. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry that's forecasted to continue to grow exponentially in the next few years. And Gen Alpha, the generation behind Gen Z, has caught on. Surveys show that becoming a YouTuber or a TikToker is the generation's top career aspiration. So when we come back, Eli's going to help us understand what's behind that desire, and she'll give us a window into what being a full-time content creator is actually like, the good and the bad. We'll be back in just a few. And we're back with author and content creator Eli Rallo. I do want to ask you about creator economy and like this whole desire for so many people to become creators. I think it's like what the number one desire for people going into college.
Crazy.
Like, so there's this wild thing, right? Where like I'm not Gen Z. I would love to be Gen Z. I'm a millennial.
You're Gen Z.
I'm Gen Z adjacent.
Yes.
And I get it.
You give Gen Z.
Correct. So I'm millennial. You're Gen Z. We have parents that are either Gen X or baby boomers. So you have people below you who are going, oh my God, you are exactly what I want to be when I get older. I can't even imagine how you got here, and it must be a dream life. And then at the same time, I feel like we have people who are older than us going, I don't take this seriously, what you're doing. Talk to me about what it's like to be in that space and maybe what you'd say to both groups of people.
Oh, that's a great question. It's abundantly frustrating dealing with the older generation because I think about it like when computers arrived on the scene, there were so many people being like, we're not doing computers, like we're fine how we've had it. And it's like, this is how the world works. Like we innovate and we find ways to make things happen in an easier manner. And that's what influencers have done for marketing. We like run our own little baby reality television shows on a daily basis. It's a new form of entertainment. The same way people put their noses up at every new form of entertainment that's ever been born. It's frustrating because a lot of those people sit in seats at places really high up and you feel quite disrespected or cast aside when it's like, we just want to help. Like we're all very eager. Like influencers are always the last on the guest list. Influencers are always the last to be informed because they know we will come. Like if people, we are coming. I think I got invited to the VMAs 36 hours before last year, but they knew I would be present and sat, dress, hair, makeup, spray tan. You could not. They could have told me 2 hours and I would have been there. But they kind of abuse that a little bit where we're definitely last on the totem pole. They're telling us show up at 2 p.m. We're there. Like they do not really care. But then to the younger generation and also our peers, it seems like the most glamorous thing ever because we're in the rooms. And so I think it is frustrating because it's like, no. The industries are not like influencers. Like traditional media and especially theater, a lot of it is still very like poo-poo influencers. And that can be frustrating when you have an earnest desire to help. Like theater is desperately desperately searching for their new audience as their older audience phases out. And I'm like, if you want the new audience, meet them where they're at.
Right.
Stop adapting old, tired IP that nobody cares about and working for 8 months on it and throwing it up on stage to try to appeal to tourists who don't care.
Right.
Find your new audience. They're there.
And they're influencers or content creators that can help you.
There's so many. And so the older generation, it's can be very, very frustrating and feel sort of isolating from that regard. And then with the younger generation, I think first of all, I get it. Like, if I was in college and I was watching people become self-made millionaires from their personalities on the internet, if I was watching people buy houses and cars and go on dream vacations and fly private, I too would be like, how can I have that? So first of all, totally understood. I think the thing that's interesting is that, like, because it's new, we don't have a way to like equip them with the tools.
Yeah.
There's kind of this misconception that having 1 million followers means every brand deal, every opportunity, all this money automatically overnight, and that it doesn't require any work. You know, I have 2 friends who've both been massively successful on the app, and both of them bought homes and paid for their own weddings and bought beautiful cars. And after those things happened, we saw a lot of people saying, setting up my phone today because X and X bought all these things and, you know, got all the success, and I want to do the same. But I think the thing that people aren't realizing is those 2 women have sacrificed everything for this. They've given up their whole personal lives. They've allowed people to destroy and nitpick every aspect of their appearances. Like, they have sacrificed their privacy. And not only that, they're hardworking girls. Like, this is not just them setting up their phone. Like, they're hustling. But I think there is a world that we can start equipping young people who want to do something similar or feel they have something to share, like, with the tools to succeed. Like, I wonder if there'll be college classes. Like, I do
hope there will be.
Truly think about that, because there are marketing degrees in college, and there's even like digital social media type of degrees. Like, I wonder if we'll get there, because I think a lot of us got thrust into it, or it was random and we weren't trying. And you see a lot of the people that try, it's hard to succeed now. And I think it's because we're not helping. We're not offering a helping hand. And creators being transparent, I think, is a really great first step. We watch a lot of creators be transparent about finances, about the work that it takes, about the ins and outs of the industry. And I think we'll hopefully get to a place where young people can first understand what it means, because I think you do have to make the decision of, like, are you going to sacrifice your personal and your privacy? Because in a way, you have to.
Which, I was going to say, I mean, not everyone wants to sacrifice privacy, even if they do want wealth or whatever it is. They don't realize how big that sacrifice is.
They don't realize what the sacrifice is. And I think we should be equipping the younger generation with knowing what this actually is and how you can be successful, because it's kind of similar to publishing, where, like, before you're in it, there's no rule book, game book, no person being like, here you go. You're kind of just like sitting there with a lot of questions, but you don't want to feel dumb for asking them, which like you should never feel that way, but we've all felt that way.
Right. We're all trying to skip to the end.
Feel this way? Yes. Yeah. We're all trying to be like, okay, I'm going to pretend like I kind of know the answer to this, but I don't. That's me, like, every day and has been for the past 5 years. But it's so interesting because it's such a dichotomy, the 2 generations, like, in your ear, and then you're just there like, I just have fun making content online. Yes.
What do you, I mean, people across the gamut, age-wise, et cetera, listen to this show. What I noticed that's most, like, clear is that a lot of people listening to the show are in moments of transition, you know, going from being single to being married, going from having a job to all of a sudden no job. I mean, all of these different moments that make up transition points. Your book is about quarter-life crisis, but I'm curious what advice you'd have for people who are like, I'm in a transition and I don't really know what to do in this really messy middle.
Yeah. A transition, like, I think about, like, being on a train, being on a plane, like, going somewhere else. Like, there's also, like, the idea of a little bit of excitement that can live there. Like, yes, it's scary. Change is always scary. No one's ever been like, woohoo, fun, let's do it. Like, nobody wants to go through a breakup. Nobody wants to be like, change is fun.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. Like, that's okay. Like, it's allowed to suck. But, like, with the suck, there is this, like, glimmer of excitement that, like, every time you've ever experienced some kind of transition before, like, what you got on the other side was probably the most insanely amazing thing you've ever experienced. Like, I think about this with people who aren't moms and then become parents. Like, that must be the most, like, insanely terrifying, emotional roller coaster of an experience that you could ever have. Like, all of these things. Like,
I always say it's like the biggest BC to AD you'll ever have.
Yeah, it's like,
as a mom.
Like, you're like, I was one person and now I'm another. And like, there's a heartbreak and a confusion in that, but it's also, I'm certain, like, the most incredible feelings that you've ever had in your entire life.
Yeah.
We have to just, like, remind ourselves of that. Like, the other side, there is something good.
Something to be found.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it's a change that you didn't want to happen, which, you know.
So many of us.
Also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then what advice do you have for people on becoming adults? You've talked about like letting go, not having a plan. I mean, I hear from you this idea of trust.
Yeah.
I love the be still and wait. What advice do you have?
You don't need to have everything figured out. If you did, there'd be nothing else left to learn. And what's fun about that, you have to let life surprise you sometimes. And I think that I've just kind of in the past few years, and especially since writing this, I've just taken a step back and asked myself, like, this life that I want to figure out, like, what really is it?
Yeah.
And the more I think about it, I've just realized that the only point to life is to love and be loved in return. So if like you're doing that.
Okay, Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, it's Moulin Rouge. No, it's Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, with it. Yeah.
No, but go watch Moulin Rouge also.
Seriously.
Like, or just watch a musical. Like that's the point
Yeah.
of life to me. Because I love musicals, but like you have to find things you love and like have them love you in return. And that can be friends, that can be yourself, that can be family, that can be a romantic partner, that could be a hobby, something that you kind of dedicate yourself to. And it's so much more simple than like we all make it seem. And I think you have to sometimes tune out the noise. Like there's this myth that like your 20s are supposed to be this like perfect time.
Right.
You're the youngest
And it's
you'll
the
ever
only
be.
time.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's just not true. Like
No.
Toni Morrison like published her first book in her 40s. Like these people were not doing this at 21.
Yeah. You know, I say to my husband, and we often say a lot to each other, the thing that we were searching for, the thing we're like aiming for, like we're actually here right now.
Yeah.
Like all of this is it now.
No.
This is life
is it.
now. This isn't
is-
a dress rehearsal.
No, this is
Yeah.
not a dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
That's a great reminder.
Yeah. Thank you, Eli.
Thank you so
That's
much.
great. That was Eli Rallo, content creator and author of Does Anyone Else Feel This Way? Essays on Conquering the Quarter-Life Crisis. If you liked this episode, I think you'll enjoy my conversation with Professor Aaron Seck on the trouble with pursuing passion in your career. You can find a link to that in the show notes, and if you check it out, let us know what you think. Everyday Better is a production of LinkedIn News. The show is produced by Emily Reeves and Ava Admadbegi. Asaf Gadron is our sound engineer. Tim Boland mixed our show. We get additional support from Alex Kutsantsova and Mujib Merdad. Sarah Storm is our senior producer. Dave Pond is head of production and creative operations. Maya Pope-Chappelle is director of content and audience development. Courtney Coop is head of original programming. Dan Roth is LinkedIn's editor-in-chief and vice president of content development. And I'm Leah Smart. Thanks for coming with me, and I'll see you next week.